Hello and welcome to Riches and the Soul Summit. I'm Christine Furtado and I'm your host for the summit. And today we're having a special webinar and bonus for you, our audience and our listeners with my very special guest, Sue Guiher. Hi, Sue, welcome.
Hi, Christine. Hello, everyone.
How's it going today?
Oh, it's fabulous. It's a fabulous Friday. So, excited to be here with you. We always have fun when we get on. You never
Yes,
know.
we do.
You never know what comes up.
Exactly. And we could talk for hours. I know that.
Yeah.
So Sue has graciously offered to do a webinar bonus, like I said, for our listeners for Riches and the Soul Summit. And she's going to be doing it on Blog a Day Challenge, and I will let her further explain that to you. But first, Sue, I would love for you to briefly tell us who you are for those of us joining that may not be part of the Riches and the Soul Summit, just so they know you a little bit better.
Well, thank you. Well, I am an entrepreneur at heart. I'm a mom of 3. I also am a business growth and communication expert. For the last 17 years, I've supported small business owners in really growing their business and growing not just businesses that are somebody else's businesses, but businesses on their own terms, based on their personal values, but and always important, and that their personal values lead to profits. So that I've been on a mission for about the past year and a half, especially to really help business owners stay in business, because too many business owners are losing heart. They're losing connection with their passion. I also come out of communication. I come out of healthcare, but as a communication specialist. My background is as a speech pathologist. I left corporate America almost 17 years ago. In November was my 17th anniversary of making the decision to start my own business. And for the last 7 years, I've also taught multiple communication courses at the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania in their MBA and executive MBA programs. So my heart and soul is really helping people express themselves, get seen, and have clear messages, which fits really nicely what we talked about in terms of, you mentioned the Blog a Day Challenge. So on the summit, I shared about that, how to take your personal values that we talked about all the way to getting professional profits. And there are 5 pieces that I think every business owner needs to have, and it needs to start with their values. So those 5 pieces are values, vision, focus, transformation, and results. And when you know your values and also know what your clients value, it's a great place to start. And I think that really tied into what we talked about, Riches of the Soul. I mean, really coming from that heart place. I always tell people that I'm growing your business inside and outside.
Yeah.
That's starting with that values. And then what's your vision? Who do you want to work with? And how do you want to be seen? What kind of business model? I'm actually taking a look at 2017 and probably switching up my business model quite a bit. Going back to teaching more classes. I used to teach a lot of online classes. And I used to teach, I ran a couple different coaching schools in my career and taught a lot of coaching skills. So that might come back, we'll see. But so knowing your values, knowing your vision, and then transformation and focus kind of go hand in hand. So what do you need to transform? So if your vision and your values don't match, there's something missing. Like if you have, for me, I have a value of teaching. Obviously, I teach at Wharton. I teach my clients, and I just said, I'm going to go back to teaching more because that was missing for me. It wasn't in my vision enough.
Yeah.
What do you need to transform about how you're doing business right now, how you're being seen? I find also a lot of people have trouble knowing what to focus on. And that shiny object syndrome. Have you ever had?
Yeah. I think I raised my hand the last one too.
So that shiny object, but also how you spending your time. I help people create what I call a thrivosphere. And so where are you focusing your time? And social media is a huge one. I'm going to come back to that. Transforming how you change your thoughts around how you're spending your time. And then results. So what are the results that you're getting for your clients? And what are the results that you're getting in your business? How are you celebrating them and how are you tracking them?
Yep.
And this Blog a Day Challenge came out of, and it started in 2013. I was hosting a weekly call called the Thriving Revolution, and that weekly call is coming back in 2017. I haven't done it for the last 6 months. Yeah, and I miss it, and people miss it. It was a 30-minute call where I would teach different topics around business and thriving. And one of the things that came up was visibility. And I'm all about helping my clients get their message out there because, and I think we've shared this conversation, I think everybody has a message they want to share.
Yep.
Everybody has, a voice that they need to express things. My background as a speech pathologist, certainly I helped people literally regain their voice and their way of speaking. And when I teach speaking at Wharton, I literally do that. Well, I also think that business owners have that. They need it for networking. They need it when they're online. How many people are doing videos now? They need it in their writing. But one of the things that came up was that people were afraid of blogging.
Oh.
They didn't know what to say. I don't know how to do it. Is it complicated? So I decided to do, at that time, it was a 100-day challenge. In 2013, it started in February or March. It was 100 days of trying to blog every day. Because as we know, when you start doing something consistently every day, then you get into a habit and it becomes much easier. It's the starting and stopping, again, not knowing what to focus on, that makes it more difficult. I bet you, once you start something, whether it's a workout routine, whether it's a writing routine, whatever it is, when you commit to it, it makes it so much easier, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It becomes second nature. Then it's not this big chore that you're starting up every time.
Yeah, exactly. For me, just recently, just as an aside, I love doing jigsaw puzzles. And I used to do them every day. And I will say for the last 6 months, I've gotten away from it. So now I have 15 minutes every morning that I do and I set my timer because otherwise I could be there for an hour and a half to do those 15 minutes of my puzzle. And it's a time when I just think or problem solve or I'm with myself. So it's creating those habits. So the Blog a Day Challenge created a bunch of things. One, it created a voice for the people that were involved in it. One woman in particular, her name is Kristen Smedley, and she has 3 children, 2 of whom her boys are both blind.
Oh.
And she has founded a foundation called Curing Retinal Blindness for her children. And not just for her kids, actually she's changing the way people view blindness. And so it's not just for her kids. It started out of all the knowledge and it's expanded. She had never blogged. And I remember her calling me up and go, oh, I have no idea what I'm doing. Because I know I'm the only one. I'm like, no, you're the 7th call today.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. You're not the only one who doesn't know what they're doing. So from that Blog a Day Challenge, she can track back that she increased her subscribers by 3,000 people. She had never.
Wow.
It's a brand new blog. She also then was picked up by a scientific blog who asked her to be a guest blogger because they wanted the voice of a parent. From that has gone crazy. Pharmaceutical companies who want to work on drug trials have come to her to fund for their foundation because this foundation funds research grants.
Wow.
They've raised over $1 million now to fund research grants and have connected research together.
Wow.
This year, she was sitting at a conference and the speaker was talking about her blog up there on his slides.
Oh, very good.
It all came from this Blog a Day Challenge. So I've done multiple of them, and it wasn't something I was wanting to get known as. But now colleagues of mine who are in social media will say to their clients, you need to do Sue's Blog a Day Challenge.
Oh, very good. I may have to join you.
And I've expanded it. So here's how it works. Because I know when people go, oh my gosh, my readers don't want to hear from me every day, or I have a pattern of once a week, that's fine. The Blog a Day Challenge is 2 components. One, it's that you do something to increase your visibility. And I'm still using the name Blog a Day because we bad, B-A-D, bad. And because I have the domain name. But I told people, if you want to increase your visibility on Pinterest, maybe your audience is on Pinterest, just, put something there every day. So what it really is that you are giving attention to LinkedIn, your blog, Pinterest, whatever it is every day. And we have a Facebook group that you join. And on that Facebook group is where every day I'll have a welcome to day one, and you post your link. The rest of the people in the Blog a Day Challenge will then go and comment on your blog link. That's where we get the generation of,
okay.
And when it works really well is when people do make that commitment. And I ask, go to another blog once a week. I hope people would do it more often than that. But if you can go to someone else's blog at least once a week and make a comment, it's nice that then every person's blog is getting more traffic because they're getting more interest. It also, partnerships, for projects have come out of the Blog a Day Challenge. The other thing I've added to this is 30 days of blogging tips.
Oh.
And so when you sign up, and actually the blogging tips will start next week. Whether you want to join actually in the challenge or you just want to be a stalker, the blogging tips will be very helpful. They'll let you know how to get your voice. So it's 30 days of blogging tips. It's the Facebook group that you can stay a part of. It's the interaction that you can get a part of, and the increased visibility. So here's one thing. I know you don't have to blog every day, but I want to share with you, and I've been doing this as a test, Christine, so wait till you hear this. Because I actually had a assessment of my site done at the end of September, and then when our meeting was October 14th. So before September, I wasn't doing so good at blogging. I wasn't taking my own medicine. October 1st to the 14th, and that's when I did this tracking of it, we noticed that my Alexa ranking, where traffic, went up 3 million.
Wow.
14 days. I went up and started ranking in the US much, much higher, even more than 3 million higher. Like I wasn't even on the map, and then I was way on the map.
Wow.
I hadn't been ranking, and this was partially, it's also because it was my new site. So I just launched thrivingentrepreneur.com officially maybe a month before that. So I wasn't ranking for anything because that was a new site.
Yeah.
So in 14 days of blogging, I got on the map. I started ranking for 25 keywords from 0.
Wow, that's really good. So when you say million, is it Google ranking that you're talking about?
If you go to alexa.com, which ranks all the sites in the world.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Alexa is my Alexa ranking. And then I trialed it and tried to test to see, okay, is that a fluke? So once the first challenge was done in November, I didn't blog. And I'm going to get right back to it because I dropped off the US site. I didn't drop my global ranking that much. I dropped maybe 500,000. So I didn't, maybe not even. I kept my global ranking okay, but my US ranking dropped significantly. And so blogging goes way up. Don't blog, it goes way down. I mean, it was clear as day on that. So I invite people, and so I'm doing it still as a fundraiser. In years past, I've done it for free, but to help Kristen out and her foundation out, I'm charging a whopping $20.20 because we're trying to get 2020 vision.
Ah, very cool.
She was the first, and she's the rock star of the Blog a Day Challenge. So all the money, the $20.20, goes to Curing Retinal Blindness Foundation.
Well, that's great. That's nice that you're doing that for a great cause.
Yeah. And there might be a few bonuses that I don't want to promise, but that I might be throwing in during the month. So the actual blogging challenge, but we're going to start chattering again, the beginning of December, but the actual blogging challenge runs from December 14th to January 14th, where you can actually be posting. You can post your blog ahead of time, but the actual 30 days The blogging tips will start a little bit before that to get people ready, but I want to give people time to think about. Some people, it's a huge deal if you've never blogged or you haven't blogged consistently. And I went to a great social media presentation yesterday with Dr. Jennifer Gardella of Your Social Media Hour, and she's the one who sends a lot of her clients. She's a part of the challenge, and I might be tapping into her wisdom as well to help people out.
That sounds great.
So it's a way to transform your thoughts around it. It's a way to get your voice out there. It's a way to see results. And it gives you something to really focus on. So,
and a new habit to create.
Definite new habit to create. And the greatest thing is, again, what I'm telling to people is it's not that you have to blog every day, although that helps. And it's 300 words. A 300-word blog is really not that long, especially if you do video. I know I've seen you, Christine, doing the Facebook Live.
Yeah.
You can do a Facebook Live, save it, and post it to your blog post. Done.
Yes, and that's what I'll be doing with my YouTube and my Facebook stuff, and also sending it to lists. But yeah, you're right, is to repurpose that too.
And that's the big thing. My hugest word is called leverage. You know, I love leverage. And so what I always tell people is, so say you post a blog post on a Monday, and we all know they're supposed to do this. And then Tuesday, you want to share it on, Twitter. And
yep.
Then on Wednesday, you want to share it on your Facebook. And then on Thursday, maybe you share somebody else's who is complimentary or supports what you say. So it doesn't always have to be you writing new content. People are like, oh, I have to sit down. That's the other big thing. I want to change the way people think about a blog post.
Yes.
It does not have to be a huge article every time. There's a great structure and templates that you can use for if you want to do the traditional blog post. But a posting on your blog, I got one of my greatest ones when I did a little word search around values. And what are the first 3 words that you see? And it was fun. It was engaging, and people were surprised. And the conversation that came off of that was awesome.
Wow, that's very interesting. It's good, like you said. It's just basically being innovative and trying stuff too. And so that's great to know about the 300, because I always thought you have to have like the really big blogs for it to start to rank. So it's more about doing it more consistently. Is that?
Yeah, so you do want to work on the SEO is important. I'm not an SEO expert, although, I've had to study enough, absolutely. So between 300 and 350 will get you the SEO ranking.
Okay.
So that will. So you definitely want to do at least one of those a week, if not more. But I know that when I had my increase, most of mine were probably 300 to 350 words, but not all of them were. And, I have a program that warns me, not enough words, but my goal wasn't that every single one of them were going to trigger. It was the whole of it. And obviously it worked. And then the longer articles, you should have on your website. So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, if you really think about if you get sat down and start talking, I bet you could talk 300 words.
Yeah.
I tell my students that's about 2 to 3 minutes of talking. If you were to write that out, would probably be about a 300 word.
Ah, see, that's not bad. Yeah. And we could do that very easily.
Very easily. If you really look at a concise message, so that's the other thing. I always talk about concise message, and that is talking. And blogs allow you to do that. And there's all different types. The informative blog. I'm trying something new in December, and because I'm such a teacher, that most of mine are tools and strategies. And I'm going to do that through the tips. It's only those that are involved in the Blog a Day Challenge. But I think my blog in December is going to kind of be the personal side of thriving, which is going to be a stretch and be an interesting thing to see what voice shows up for me. That's not the teacher. The teacher, I'm sure, is going to show up. What else can show up? The mom, I think, is going to show up a lot. And I know people go, oh, it's during the holidays. But you know what? If you can get through the holidays and be consistent in that 15 minutes, you're going to get through any other, day in the year.
Absolutely. And I like the way you say about the personable, because I think people love the stories. People like blogs that are stories, you'll get a lot of, you probably noticed that. I'd be interested to see your comparison, the ones that are the stories versus, I mean, I think tips and tricks are great.
Yeah.
But I always find that with mine, if I make it a story as part of like a list or something, it seems to get a lot more attention, and even emails to my list. If I make it a story, it gets a lot much more attention. So I'd be interested to see that.
Well, and one of the women that was really active in our October one started something called Morning Hair, which is awesome. She had an awesome, and it was very personal. And I loved reading it. And I said, thank you so much for sharing, because she was giving voice to what many women go through in terms of confidence. And she's a fantastic business owner. And she said, I didn't realize how much I love to write, or I had forgotten how much I love to write. She made it such that even if she came home after a long day, before she went to bed, she had to write.
Oh, that's cool.
So she tried doing it in the morning, but sometimes we get in our way, but she was very consistent and was very heartfelt. And it was amazing. And I share with her, I'm having to see her yesterday, how inspired I was by her stories. And she will be blogging within the challenge. Again, she continues to blog. And this was a brand new blog. Like, she had all the other kind of informational blogs, but now she owns a brick and mortar day center, learning center for kids. And this was a more personal side of Jenny and Miss Jenny. And it was great. And for her, it was so if you wanted to write for a while, not sure what to write for, you just want to write for yourself, great place to do it. And just share in a very supportive environment of people and say, hey, what do you think? Does this sound like, do I sound like I'm being real, or how does this sound to you? Because you can try out your voice and create what voice you want to put out there.
That's awesome.
I hope you jump on.
I will, actually. I am going to, because that's one of my, once the summit is over, is to do more content. But I was only going to do one blog a week, but you might kick me in the butt. But my whole thing in the next, my next 90 days was going to be write more content, which includes videos and so that, I think having a challenge, it just gets easier. And then, instead of sitting down and it takes me an hour and a half to write something, maybe eventually it'll be a half an hour, it'll just come to me or whatever. So
and if you once you start, like I was sitting at a meeting yesterday, and I'm sure I'll be, and as I always carry index cards with me everywhere, I had 5 blog ideas, just listening to what people were saying, what had come up. And so now I just need to flesh those 5 out. And again, if you want to do every day, I think it would help your ranking. And if you just do once a week and then repurpose it in a very strategic way, you'll also get great value out of that.
Yes. And actually, I use a tool called, because that was the other thing I was going to do. I use Meet Edgar. I don't know if you've heard.
Yeah.
I think there's other ones like Hootsuite and whatever, but Meet Edgar, you can just put all your blogs in there, and then it literally just does like a random to wherever you want. So that's a cool idea too. And I totally agree. It's not just doing it. You want to repurpose it everywhere all the time.
Take advantage of it in a way that makes sense. Not so that you don't want to blast it out one day in all your channels, because that's just going to overwhelm everyone and you won't get the leverage. But if you strategically, like you said, put it out over multiple days,
yes,
it works.
And you want to have more, like a lot in there, like whatever bucket you're putting it in, let's say, I don't know, 30 or 60. So that way it's always regurgitating, but it's not coming up all the time. Like this, if you only have like 5, well, it's going to come up all the time. But if you have a number of them, and it's just going to slowly move through, but at least your stuff's always out there, right? So it's just
if you decided to write one a day, then you would have 30 by the end of the challenge.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Acre could put out. I had a client in real quick, and then I'll let you go, that did organic, like bath products. And one of the things that we had for her, because everything was very visual, and just talking about just a social media presence, she actually did blogging once a week, but she also then took, like on Wednesdays was when, I think it was Wednesdays when she often made certain soaps. And so it would be from her workman's table. She would take pictures. And so that would go up onto Pinterest or Instagram. And so depending upon the social media outlet that where your audience is, you can also, so say you write a blog post, but you take the images from it or the idea from it. And you then post on other days on other social media outlets that can also increase visibility. That's the whole point, is visibility, relationship, connection to the people you're trying to reach and serve.
That's awesome. Well, I thank you very much for coming on today and giving us this bonus, this extra bonus. I think this is something that everybody can use, whether or not, you know, you're an entrepreneur or someone starting out or someone, a business owner, or even someone who just likes to blog, you know, or write.
Or or wanting to. We do that's one of the things is I've always been very supportive, and many of the people have come back and said, thank you so much, one, for spending the time and the energy to just engage and help people find their voice. There's been multiple people who have blogged for the first time or have come back to blogging. So I invite anybody and everyone to come on board, because the more the people that are engaged, the more spiders that can come in and more people that can read and give you feedback and also help raise your visibility. So,
awesome.
So they should come to, I'll just let.
Yes, I will say, where can we find you on both items?
All right, so for the Blog a Day Challenge, it's very easy. Go to blogadaychallenge.com. That's blogadaychallenge.com. All one word, no spaces or anything else like that. My primary site, you can find me and some other tools that I have at thrivingentrepreneur.com. Or you can check me out also on Facebook. My business Facebook is under my business name, which is Thrive for Success. So look up Sue Guiher at Thrive for Success. And I would love to connect with you on Facebook as well.
That's awesome. Well, I'm really glad too that you've got a Facebook group. It seems to be the theme. All our experts that did a webinar bonus for our audience all have some kind of collaborative Facebook group where it's not where it's about supporting and inspiring each other. And so I think that's really cool. So thank you for sharing that, and I will be joining your group. So, so thank you, Sue.
Yeah, absolutely. This tips will start December 5th that week, and then we start sharing and blogging and everything the 14th to the 14th, December 14th, I guess, to January 13th. But you'll blog after that.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Sue, for sharing that. I will put all those URLs in our description on the YouTube video. And so please join Sue in this challenge. I think it's great for whether or not you have a business, you're an entrepreneur, or whether or not you just want to start blogging or love writing. I think it's a wonderful opportunity to do that, but also collaborate and meet some other people as well. And so, yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. And so to everybody, so if you're not already on Riches and the Soul Summit, there's still time to join. So go to richesandthesoulsummit.com. Please join us there. Lots of action as well in our Facebook group as well. And to get to learn more about Sue as well and her background and her journey, that you can find her in your inbox if you join. And to reach myself personally, head over to ChristineFurtadoEnterprises.com. And so thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll catch you on another video.
Bye.